Okay, we'll bring the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My name's Jim McInnes. I'm pastor of Willis Baptist Church in Willis, and I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight, to be able to open this meeting. So let's look to the Lord in prayer. Could we do that? Our Heavenly Father, we are so thankful, dear God, for your love and your goodness to us. We're thankful, dear God, for each one of these folks that serve on this board. Father, we pray that you would bless them and bless their families. And Lord, for all the citizens, dear Lord, that are concerned for their community, we ask, God, that you would bless them. Lord, give them wisdom, give them guidance and direction, Lord. May most of all, dear Lord, decisions we make would be pleasing to thee. We ask it in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right.
Thank you.
God's in charge.
Okay, we'll do roll call. Bowman here. Laporte.
Here.
Patterson.
Here.
Oddie.
Here.
Rush.
Here.
Frazier.
Here.
Honey.
Here.
Okay, no public comment?
I don't know. Chief, is there any public comment back there?
The attorney told not to
That's
do it.
Okay.
Wait, that's the bid.
This is public comment.
Oh, it does say, I thought you were giving me the bid sheet. I apologize.
Well, Walker? No? Sammy?
Yeah, I have something to say. That was an article written last week in the Independent and was published about wrong information when I bought that business on Haggerty and Savage Road next to the bakery. Somebody accused me of taking the flag because I'm an outsider, and they call me outsider to this township. They did that purposely, I think, because they know I have a meeting coming up for that building that I bought from Mr. Hughes, which is I've known for 35 years. They're just trying to put the wrong information for the public, and they call me outsider, an eyesore for the community. I do object that information, and whoever specify those information, I hope it goes back to them, and then we'll go from there. I just want to clarify that information. I love that flag. I've been in this community, serving this community for 33 years, since 1992 at Bemis and Sumpter. In 2016, I moved to 19465 Sumpter Road, across the street from Ace. We had a fallout regarding the lease with Mrs. Janet and her daughter. And I tried to look for a business in this community because I love this community, I want to stick in this community, and I want to help this community. So I did not take the flags, so I approached Mrs. Hughes, the previous owner of the building, and she had some correction about that article wrote back in the Independent clarifying that when I took possession of that property, somebody took the flag off that building. I just want to clear to the board and the Sumpter official that I had no knowledge whoever took that flag. I was going to report it to the police, but I didn't think it was a big issue because we were in the transition of moving and moving out. And she said about some trucking moving in and out, those the previous owner when they took all them heavy trailer off that property. So I just want to clear that information to the public and to the official. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll move on. Approve the agenda.
Tim, she's asking you a question.
Sure.
She passed.
Hmm?
She passed.
Yeah.
Good evening. Zella Walker, 26102 Sumpter Road, Belleville, about the gentleman that made the statement. I have no idea what he's talking about, the flag. But what I want to make a comment about is we welcome all business in business areas, but we don't want all of them to be junkyards. In a while, something will be known as junkyard. He has one up there, the one he's trying to open up now, one on Sumpter Road there, one down at Judd Road in, and one to put a car lot down there on Sumpter Road. What are we turning into? A junkyard? That's what it seemed like. Only business that they're bringing is a junkyard. A market which started out, I was in the planning commission when that started. A market, it went from a market to a pharmacy, went from a pharmacy to a gas station, and went from a gas station to a liquor license. So now come on, what are we, the slum area in this western part of Wayne County? I like something. I've been out here for 50 years, but I don't want it to be turned into a junkyard, gas station, all that. I am having longevity. But guess what? I'm counting a whole lot more, so I'll be around. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move on. We'll approve the agenda.
So moved.
Support?
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Moving on, minutes. A, approve the regular board meeting minutes of October 28th, 2025.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Moving on, approve warrants of $564,593.90.
So moved with a roll call vote.
Support.
Addie,
Yes.
Frazier,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Bowman, yes. Laporte,
Yes.
Rush,
Yes.
Honey.
Yes.
Motion carried. Motion to receive and file supervisor's report.
Support?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays?
We get that in there, right?
Motion carried. Township manager's report, Martin.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor and Board of Trustees. I do have a couple of things to go over that I'd like to call your attention to in my report. The first item is on page 1, and that is the penetration test. This has been talked about for some time, and it finally has occurred. It's called a pen test. Penetration test refers to the vulnerabilities within our online system, how we are at risk toward hackers and worms and bots and all those kind of things. The test was concluded. There's a couple recommendations that I don't think will cost us any dollars, but I will ensure that these happen, and if they do, we will of course bring that to your attention. There is a full 28-page technical report that I forgot to mention in my report here that we have that. I can provide that to any of you if you so want to read it. Bart, I know you looked at it. I don't know if you feel like it's something that, it's kind of hard to understand, to be quite frank with you.
It's a little outside my wheelhouse.
Okay, mine too. But as these recommendations that Sensei suggests are implemented, I will keep you apprised.
Chair?
Ken? Oh, I'm sorry.
Just real quick.
Yes.
That kind of information, I would, just my opinion, I would consider that highly, highly sensitive, information. We want to be real careful how we handle that, because in the wrong hands, it could be very detrimental to the township. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Jim.
Are you referring to the 28-page report?
Yeah, anything to do with the pin test.
Right, okay. Understood. Next item. There is on page 2, I want to mention that there's a volunteer application that's found elsewhere in your packet as something that we could possibly approve and start utilizing. there is a notice that I have jury duty tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. Then there's another notice about, toward the bottom of the page that I think is worth highlighting. The Environmental Protection Agency is working in the township right now on a property on Savage Road to remediate property or soil that has been contaminated due to a landfill permit for which was issued in 1972. It's inactive now, but apparently there's, according to the EPA report, 10 to 40 times above the 200 parts per million in lead. So they're working on this. There's no cost, of course, to the township. There actually isn't even a cost to the landowner because the landowner was not responsible for the pollution or the contamination, I should say. On page 3, a couple of updates on bid projects, one of which you'll be discussing later. But also I wanted to call your attention to the township logo. As you all know, I was ill the last meeting. The logo was on the agenda. It was not approved. And I really hope in the committee that we formed to look at this, hopes for some direction from the board regarding the logo in general. You all have copies, color copies in your packet there with the logos, the 4 that we presented to you that was worked on with the committee and the consultant. And I just wanted to highlight a couple things about the logos. We all unanimously figured that sort of referring to the township's Farmington heritage is important, which is why one of them has sort of a cartoon, it's not a cartoon, with a tractor on it. And then a couple of them have like wheat, or sheaves of wheat. We thought that the color green reflected environment or farming, along with the sort of you could call it gold or brown. Not sure exactly what the tint would be, but those decisions were made by the committee because we thought that it would be appropriate. If you all don't think so, that's fine, of course. We'd like more direction on how to move forward. It doesn't have to be this very instant, but if some folks would want to talk to me about this over the next couple of weeks, I'd like to get something so that I can take back to the committee so that we can move ahead. And to be quite frank with you all, this whole project was started just before I started working here. So I'm not quite sure where the movement came from in the first place, but I frankly think that it might be time to replace the logo that we have now. I don't think it's awful. I just think it's time to modernize. If you're not changing, you're dying, as some people like to say. Any further questions for me?
Motion to accept the TM report?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank
Nays?
you.
Motion carried.
Did Addie support that?
Okay. Attorney's report, Young.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, so we have an action that we brought. As you know, that we've been trying to deal with the blight issues in the township, and that ordinance has been out in a pretty regular and normal process, issuing tickets and bringing about some conclusions that are positive, and yet at the same time, there's some difficult properties that are defiant, and these are things that go along with trying to do this, particularly out in more of a rural area like Sumpter Township versus a heavily populated area. Back some time ago, though, we passed an ordinance amendment that allowed the township and allowed the court to enforce the cleanup of the property under what you might know to be an injunction or a court order. And those matters have come before Judge Oakley and with other communities, and also for what we have done here. The most recent one, and the one of significance, involves the property at 47750 Ware Road in the township. As you know, I think you've all been contacted maybe by some of the neighbors and the residents in that area, and justifiably so, complaining about the condition of the property. and how it is blighted beyond really description. I mean, I don't know how anybody could live or want to live or even be part of living on this property, but so be it, that's what exists. We were before the judge, Judge Oakley, in October 21st. We filed an extensive brief with pictures and all kinds of things, and I just sort of fanned this just to let you know that we took this very serious, and that the judge, after hearing argument from both the landowner, from a tenant on the land, and from the township, entered an order giving the landowner 30 days or until November 21st to clean up the property. And if the property is not cleaned up, given the township the strict order or the direction or consent or permission, whatever you want to call it, to go in there in whatever form is necessary to render this property free of all of the blight that exists on the property. And as fanning these pictures out to people, some of the board members up here, if anybody wants to see what it is that we're fighting against, it's pretty atrocious. We have based upon this order, we went out and we sought bids from different contractors to come and take care of this and remove the garbage and take it to the landfill. We received two bids. One was for $5,100, and that was from Van Ash, and the other one was for $8,100, and that was from Bush and Sons. Van Ash has done a number of our cleanups in the past when it comes to these situations. In fact, I think they cleaned this property back years ago when there was a concern. The difference here is that the expenses for this will be put not only on the tax roll, on the mortgage on the property, but it will be added to the taxes as an expense, which I'll give to the treasurer's office once we have that reduced to an exact amount. It's pursuant to the order. And then we will have an opportunity, if need be, to foreclose on the property if necessary. This has been a very defiant owner. It's unfortunate. She's an elderly woman, and we felt bad about this. And part of the reason for the delay, you're looking at them, because I just had difficulty and had different hopes and aspirations that maybe she would come around. The property itself is inhabitable. I don't even want to begin to describe what's in there. And then the next action that the board will take under the dangerous building action will be to probably demolish that building. I don't see how it can be repaired or brought to some sort of a livable state, but I'm not a builder nor a contractor, and I guess we'll see what happens when that comes up for hearing. But my reason for bringing this up under my report is we have those two bids. The 21st is when this is supposed to be taken care of. I received reports from the chief today that following some discussions with the ordinance officer, no improvements have been made. In fact, there may be additional blight created by certain activities on the property. Needless to say, though, this condition is not going to be cleaned up. The next board meeting would be the 26th. I'm not going to tell you that this is an emergency, that the sky is falling if we don't take care of this tonight, but these bids just came in. And if you want to wait, that's fine. If you want to move forward, then on the 22nd, I guess, of November or thereabouts, we would have whatever company you choose to be out there and clean up and removing this blight from the property. Again, the second aspect of this is the order requires, demands, and directs these homeowners and tenants and whoever has notice of this ordinance not to put or start with the blight again. So the decision is going to be that if it starts again, we'll immediately come before the judge on a show cause as to why they're violating the court order and not let it get out of hand, and probably be able to take care of it in a cheap way compared to what it's costing us now, and ensure that this whole situation doesn't offend the neighborhood like it has over the years. I think some of you have seen this property. So whatever you guys decide, if you want to decide or come back on the 26th with this, that's fine. Obviously, the contractor's not going to go at this until it's approved, or if you want to take either of the two bids, we can do that tonight with the understanding that they will start immediately. If anybody has anything they want to talk about.
I just had a quick question. So, first of all, the two prices that are about, like the lower one, I think you said it was Van Ash. I'm not familiar with the two. I know Bush and Sons have done some work for us. But it's about 70% of the cost. As long as it's an apples to apples and there's going to be proper cleanup and care of the property, there's not going to be ruts, and they're going to be doing whatever repair afterwards is fine. I think too, if we wait until the next board meeting, ground starts freezing, it starts getting more difficult to remove stuff, we start dealing with more snowfall and all that, I think sooner is better, at least in my opinion.
So, I got a question. Are the difference between the two bids, are both these bids all encompassing the same amount of work?
Yeah,
Right.
Yep.
So they
there's
both,
not,
So
I'm sorry,
so both companies they're bidding on equal amounts.
apples and-
They understand what the
Right.
scope of the work is.
the scope of the work is kind of cool or interesting or specific because it's articulated in the order,
Everything off the property except the house.
right? I mean.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I just want to be clear, it's
Yep.
$3,000 difference between the
Right.
two. I thought maybe there might be a pile of rubbish over in a corner that, that's got overlooked, or that don't worry about this, just take care of this.
Everything but the house.
So I would make a motion to move forward tonight
Which one do you want to accept?
with Van Ash.
Yeah,
I agree.
I like that. I'll support that.
So we'll do a roll call vote.
Sure,
Can we put that as an agenda item so we can track
Yeah.
it a little bit easier
I agree.
Item F?
moving forward?
Item F,
With that, on 16F, we do.
What was the total amount again?
5,100,
6,100?
5,000.
5100.
So accepting a $5,100 quote from Van Ash for the cleanup of this property.
Right.
What was the address again?
It's
47750 Ware Road.
47750?
Yep.
Per the court order.
Right. I could tell you this, there's two small parcels, one of which we purchased that has some blight on it, which we'll take care of. The second one is owned by the same property owners, but I don't have a bid on that. So I will have that probably before you on the 26th.
Okay, so
Information only.
motion and support.
Well, we'll
Are we
read that
just
when we
gonna-
get
just
down
gonna do
to
it
it,
at
so
the end?
I'll just make a motion to approve the attorney's report unless you have anything else.
Is it possible, if I can add something?
Yes.
As part of that agenda item, so once they're out here, if they're willing to do the properties because they already have the machinery, if we can maybe set a limit for the second one? And if they're within that limit, we wouldn't obviously broadcast that, but we could go ahead and they could do all three properties on that day when they come out. Something reasonable, but maybe the supervisor would know a reasonable number to kind of put on that, and if they're over that, then we'll come back in front of the board at the next meeting.
I don't
I
think
just
the-
figure if they're out here with their machinery, going across Sumpter, a half mile or whatever, it might be in their interest and,
Well, my concern is this is two different property locations. For legalities, is it possible to make a not-to-exceed number with two different properties?
Yeah, I think so, because the order does cover that other parcel.
Okay.
It's just that the bid did not come in, it was limited just to the bigger piece, and like I say, the third parcel is what we own. We bought that at a tax sale, a couple months ago, so, we can take care of that. It's not gonna be that much, there's some concrete we looked at and some other.
I don't think it's near as
Well,
much.
no, it's not even close. So I hate to say not to exceed and put a dollar amount on that, then the bidder or the person that's out there knows what they have, the maximum.
Exactly.
So I guess what I would do is, instead of doing that, if you trust the chief,
they're gonna be here in the morning at 9 to walk the two properties with Peter.
At
So
the police chief's discretion, is that the proper word?
that was worded poorly
Doesn't
from,
that fall
from
under
the
our
attorney.
purchasing power?
yeah, I guess it would fall under purchasing power,
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
I mean-
So we keep it separate, so
Okay,
Yeah.
if we
that's
wanna
fine.
do it that.
You got discretion up to a certain
All right.
dollar amount under purchasing
All
policy.
right, so we'll leave that alone, yeah.
Okay. Ordinance report, Chief Luke.
Right, we didn't approve the attorney's report.
Make a
Motion
motion
to
for
approve the
attorney's
attorney's
report.
report.
Support.
I was gonna give one more update if I can. So the
Yeah,
matters
sure, sure.
pertaining to Republic are moving forward. I just want you to know I met with the attorneys, helping us on that, Mr. Pentak's office this afternoon. And, there's drafting of all of the documents, so you'll be able to see that probably at the next board meeting.
Okay.
I'm also having discussions with them, as you know, that I've been threatening to retire for a lot of years because this thing is getting stressful. The world has changed, and Mr. Pentak has indicated that maybe the better thing would do, if with the board's consent, that would be is just to move in with them. They represent a number of communities. They've got expertise in all of this. Just throwing it out there. I'm not asking you to approve it right now. If there's something that needs to be considered, I'll have that before us at the next board meeting. You guys have all met Mr. Pentak, and his firm is very respected, and they do good work, and they have experts in all the areas In the old days, one-man show was great, but with all of the additional restrictions, regulations, requirements, there's all kind of things that need to be taken into consideration, and it's just more than what one person can handle, so. I'm not leaving, I'm just moving if that happens to be the case, so I would continue to represent. The way it would work is probably Mr. Pentock and I would take turns being out here, because he's been out here for a few times, and he's sort of like Sumpter Township, he calls it the Wild West, so he looks forward to, if you're so inclined, but we'll talk about that when I get more information. Just wanted to bring that up.
My motion still stands then, unless you have something else.
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Okay, Chief Luke.
Just a few numbers of interest for the police department in October. 1,934 total calls for service, 41 arrests, 33 misdemeanors, 8 felony, 209 traffic enforcement citations. Rawsonville Willis continues to lead the pack by a big margin in terms of traffic crashes. Part 1 violent crimes, we had 2 felonious assaults, and nonviolent crimes, we had 5 larcenies. And of course, like every other month, the total rundown is on page 2 and 3. Any questions?
Motion to accept the chief's report?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Motion to receive and file building report.
So moved.
Support?
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Fire report, Chief Brown.
Good evening, Board. I have the numbers here for the month of October from fire. Another busy month, a total of 121 runs. Only one, which was a fire. Rescue and emergency services was 97. Hazardous conditions with no fires totaled 4. Service calls of 8. Good intent was 10, and false alarms and false calls was 1. Bringing back to the total of 121 runs for the month of October, and that concludes the numbers for October.
Thank you, Chief.
Motion to accept the fire report.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Board response.
That'd be me.
Good, man.
You ready? You ready?
Absolutely. I'm always-
We made it through our first election, my first election at least. What a ride, what a busy day. Thanks to all the election inspectors that came out and worked, and put up with the craziness that me trying to figure out how things get done after they've been getting done for decades here. It was a privilege to watch a lot of them work and see how they get things done behind the scenes. I was here along with all of them all day, in and out of all the precincts. We took away a lot of valuable knowledge, benefits to improve it, to make things better. Of course, we're gonna follow the guidelines from the Bureau of Elections, but there's some things that we can do that make things a little more comfortable for the election inspectors and for the people that are coming and voting. So it was a really good dry run. It was a real simple election. Everything balanced out really good with the county. We submitted all our stuff. Some parts of the election, I wasn't really aware of how they worked, but thankfully I had a good deputy, and she's been involved with 90% of it before. She did a fantastic job, busy all day long. I want to thank DPW workers for getting the signage out, getting the rooms set up, invaluable help there. I mean, you don't realize how much you count on a group of people that really aren't even under your tutelage, if you will, until you start realizing what things are getting done and things are happening, things are getting set up. And so I'm very appreciative to Ron and all the men and women that work for him, getting things done. I think that next year's midterms with the governor's election is going to be just as crazy. It's going to be a lot busier, a lot more voters. We asked for it, right? We asked for 9 days early voting, dropping ballots off everywhere. You got to check ballot boxes twice a day. I mean, it's very interesting and very learning process. So if anybody's seen anything in elections when you voted, if you think you have some ideas to make things better, send me an email, drop by and talk to me, or just call me. I appreciate all the knowledge, anything that somebody's got to take it and try and make a better process for everybody. That's all I have.
Thank you, Clerk Cooper. Quick question too, and I'm not sure, I know this is an off day for a normal board meeting, but I don't see our TV on or the camera light on. Is this being recorded? I mean, video-wise.
Yeah.
Okay, normally I think I see a light up there, but,
Nope.
okay,
It's got a blue light up
Look
there.
at the top, there's blue light.
don't see it, but I trust you. Normally we have that on because we had that happen before once, and when that wasn't on, it wasn't being recorded, so.
Yeah, the deputy clerk's on vacation today, and I'm struggling to try and keep up with everybody talking and what they're saying, and
Yeah.
so thankfully it is being videoed, so I could reference back it.
Okay. So we'll move on to unfinished business. A, consider approval to go out for bid for snow removal bids with CDBG grant funds.
So moved.
Support?
Chair, with discussion on that, there was some additional information that was presented to the board that wasn't in the original agenda item. If Treasurer Patterson would amend his original motion to add the documentation, which is a revised bid spec, to that, so that we get the proper documentation in there, it'd be perfect.
I thought that was what that was including because that was in the board packet for unfinished, but yeah, it does, we do have the revised bid spec, so I'll include that.
Yep, and I'll support that again.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. B, consider approval to transfer account payable and payroll oversight from the clerk's office to the finance director. Do I have support?
Got a motion before we get support, I think.
A motion? I'll motion. Do I have any support? Okay, there goes that. All right, moving on. New business. A, consider approval of volunteer policy and application form.
So moved.
Support?
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. B, consider approval of contract with Planet and annual expense of $3,500.
I'll move that forward.
We open for discussion? if we have a
I'll
second?
support it so Matt can
Yeah.
Yeah,
do his discussion.
Probably Julie or Ken, whoever. I think this is, it's definitely needed, but is this something that BSNA provides? Like, is this a module that we could buy in BSNA as, one of the additional modules that would be kind of connected to our, our budget? Or is this, not, BSA doesn't have something like this?
Ken, if I could add in real quick too, a little bit of research I did. I got a chance to speak to Ken earlier and to Julie. And a little bit of research I did online is that the BSNA, I don't know about the .NET, I believe that they have separate modules, which is one is a project and grant accounting, and then a community develop modules, which are separate. But these are not a single capital improvement plan software like Planet, but rather provide, just financial operational tools necessary. In speaking with Julie, and I don't know if our TM would agree or not, as I said, we all agree we need some sort of a system and a plan going forward. BSNA tends to be typically a little bit higher per module. So maybe in apples for apples, just based upon what I've seen for modules, it could be maybe 5,000 or 6,000 or more. But she would, our finance director was gonna check into that. Because when we do the cloud next year, maybe it's something where we can, because there is no contractual term, if I'm we're into this for a year or 5 years, we could always transfer over. But we need a capital improvement plan. That's the only reason really why I moved it forward. But anyway, Ken, I'm sorry if you could add to that too.
I think you summarized it fairly well.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was gonna mention,
Just jump in on it.
I was gonna mention that BSNA tends to be a little more expensive than your average, at least than what this is, put it that way.
Yep.
So,
Well
yes.
said, Ken.
Thank you.
Tell them I'm busy.
Okay, busy. Okay, so we have motion and support for that.
Yep.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. C, consider approval of fiscal year 2025-2026 second quarterly budget amendments as presented at October 28th, 2025 meeting of the Sumpter Township Board of Trustees.
So moved.
So moved, supported and moved. All in favor?
You didn't get a
Oh,
support.
we didn't get a
support on it.
support? Okay, so there goes that.
Yeah. Motion died.
Motion is dead. Okay, D, consider approval to award Martinsville Pump Station rehabilitation bid to Lawrence M. Clark in the amount of $271,953. Includes a 10% contingency over the bid amount of $247,230.
So moved.
Support?
Can I amend that with a roll call vote?
Okay,
He didn't say, yeah, the motion wasn't with a roll call vote, but as long as you, we will
Yeah.
to amend it.
So moved with a roll call vote.
Thank you.
okay. Addie,
Yes.
Fraser,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Bowman, yes. Laporte,
Yes.
Rush,
Yes.
Honey.
Yes.
Motion carried. Okay, E, consider approval to close Township Hall on Thursday, December 11th, 2025, from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. for the annual employee holiday luncheon.
So moved.
Support?
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. F, you got the verbiage?
I do, but it looks like, I'll try to do my best. Accept the $5,100 quote from Van Ash for 47750 Ware Road per the court order
To clean up the blight.
to clean up the blight and to have chief use his best discretion and on the other properties per the court order.
We'll get it, we'll work with
You got all
Samantha,
that
don't worry. I'll help Samantha.
I'll support it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
I noticed we have Tiffany in the back. Was she supposed to speak on something tonight, or were you just here to?
I have no
I
idea.
was here for the Martinsville Pump Station rehab if you had any questions. So,
Oh, okay, all right.
if you, I'm here to answer. If not, you get posted.
All right.
I'm the guy with 1,000 questions, but I've already asked all my questions. We'll be here till
Give me a
midnight. so-
moment.
No, I'm good.
Announcements?
Chair, if I can?
Nope.
Okay.
Support.
All in favor? Just a quick announcement, something of interest. Last night was real cloudy, and NOAA, we had a massive solar event a couple days ago. The sky's supposed to be clear tonight. You might wanna, when you get home tonight, stick your head out, take a look. If you got an iPhone, especially a newer one, put it in the night mode. Some of the pictures I've seen on Facebook are just incredible in areas where obviously there can't be any clouds to see the northern lights. So that was it.
Larry Borealis.
Yeah, he is actually. He is. If I want to know what the weather's doing, I call Trustee Rush. But so I wanted to add this too, and I don't know how we can get more involvement in this, but Trustee Rush, myself, got the opportunity to go to the Veterans Memorial Ceremony at the Belleville High School yesterday. This is the third year that I got a chance to go to it, help out and all. It's a very humbling event. It's an event that, when I sit there and I see the people that are showing up, I'm like, man, I wish we need our kids, our youth, we need more veterans there. They put it on great. Mr.
Yeah.
Page, Leroy Page does an awesome job putting it all on. Very honoring to our military. There's people that were a lot from Belleville High School that show up in the ROTC program. A lot of community involvement in that area, but the representation that shows up there, I'm like, man, this auditorium there could be 15, 20 times the amount of people in this building that really need to hear this. They have great video presentations that show like a lot of times how veterans are forgotten, overlooked. And the topic was, what is a veteran to me? And I didn't get a chance to serve in the military, so it's just like, what is a veteran to you? What is it by your own definition? A lot of people got a chance to speak, great involvement. I'd like to somehow next year, when this is put on, not just to be there just to show up, speak, whatever, but somehow put out some sort of a memo to our residents, put on the Facebook, our Facebook post, our township website, promoted at board events for at least a lot more community involvement from Sumpter Township. So if you've been there and you've seen it, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't been there, you're like, oh, I don't know, okay, come to it. Please, anybody that's watching online or people in the room here, please make it a chance just to go to it. It's only about maybe an hour, but well worth your time.
Sheriff, I may?
Thank you. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, and I have to say, Treasurer Patterson, he spoke and represented the township last night. I was there, but he wrote a great speech. That was one heck of a speech you gave, Bart, and I just want to thank you for it. And I agree wholeheartedly, we need to get a lot more people there, because I think that, you know, I've been to the last 4 or 5 of those events. Last night was definitely the best on Friday. Definitely the best.
Thank you, Treasurer Patterson, for doing that.
That's it, Chair.
I'll make a motion to adjourn unless we got any other announcements.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays?